Hi, this is Warren Redlich from Fair DUI. I wanted to talk to you about the Tiger Woods arrest. We're going to go through the video and see a lot of details. There's one thing I want to suggest to you as the most important thing to take away from this video. If you found someone you cared about, a friend, a loved one, if you found someone in the condition that the police found Tiger in, you would call an ambulance and get the person to a hospital. You don't know what condition this guy's in. You don't know what's causing this condition. This could be life-threatening. This could be something that have long-term medical consequences. You are not qualified, unless you're a physician, you're not qualified to evaluate this. I'm not qualified to evaluate this. And police officers are not qualified to evaluate this. They found Tiger Woods obviously severely neurologically impaired. We don't know what's going on. Did he have a mini stroke? Did he have head trauma? Does he have a brain tumor? You don't know. Maybe it's a medication error. And this is a guy who should be taken to the hospital and evaluated. And from a law enforcement perspective, which obviously in my opinion is secondary, but even from a law enforcement perspective, when you take him to the hospital, you can get a blood draw. And a blood test is going to be more reliable and more likely to find whatever it is you might be looking for than the urine test that they ultimately did at the Jupiter police station. So watch the video. I'll talk a little bit more at the end. Thank you.
Hey man, how's it going?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing tonight? Where are you coming from, man? Where are you coming from?
LA.
From where?
LA.
From LA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the first rule of Fair DUI is to remain silent. And Woods obviously didn't follow this rule. By speaking, he showed the officer that he doesn't know where he is, thinks he's in Los Angeles when he's in Florida. And he also, at other points in the video more than this, reveals some kind of impairment with his speech. This also illustrates that the Fair DUI flyer and technique will not work for someone who's drunk, seriously impaired, has other problems. It's intended for sober people. There's no way someone in Wood's condition would have been able to handle this. Next is a critical moment with the most common police lie, that the officer claims he detected the odor of alcohol.
Have you been drinking tonight?
No.
No? Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's some odor coming from you. Okay? Have you been drinking tonight?
No.
No? Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's some odor coming from you. Okay?
The odor of alcoholic beverage claim I see in almost every DUI case, even when people blow 0.000, as Woods did. When you see as much as I see as a defense lawyer and other people who deal with the system, you realize that a lot of police lie a lot. It's a bad thing, and they shouldn't do it. I hope we can all agree on that. In the next clip, Woods admits to taking some prescription drug. We don't know what because it's muted. We don't know why it's muted, but that's coming up.
Have you taken any medication today?
Yeah.
What did you take? When did you take that at?
2 hours ago.
Okay, are you prescribed that?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you taken anything else?
No.
Any illegal drugs or anything? Okay. Why don't you go ahead and hop out for me real quick?
So in this extended clip here, you can see Woods tying his shoelaces on the hood of the police officer's car. And there's certain moments here, if you look at his eyes, if you look at the way he's moving, I started to get worried for his health and his well-being. And it's one of the things that concerned me about the officer is they are trained to focus on making an arrest and doing everything towards making an arrest. And it doesn't look like at any point the police officer ever thought, gee, maybe I should take this guy to a hospital. He doesn't look so good. And not only from a perspective of helping the individual, but even from a law enforcement perspective, what really would have made a difference for the prosecution in this case, and one of the mistakes I think they made, is that they got urine at the police station. They never drew blood, and a blood test would have been more reliable than whatever result they're going to get from the urine. At a hospital, you could have done a blood draw, and he could have been checked out by somebody who's qualified to determine whether he's impaired or not. And not just whether he's impaired, but whether he's in need of medical attention. Has he had a mini stroke? Does he have a brain tumor? Does he have some kind of head trauma? These are things a doctor could tell that a cop can't. I'm not blaming the individual officers involved in this case. The problem here is training, that the training police officers receive in how to handle a traffic stop and how to handle a potential DUI. It's nowhere in there that these guys should even consider whether somebody should go to the hospital. It's all about making an arrest. It's all about preparing for prosecution. There's nothing in there about making sure, about having any concerns at all for this person's welfare. And, you know, obviously I think a good cop would see the point and make the right decision, but I think it's very common for a police officer to do what these police officers did, and that's because that's how they're trained. And that's really on us as voters. We need to send a message to our elected officials that they need to make sure that police officers have the appropriate instructions. Now in the next clip coming up, the officer suggests to Woods that he take his shoes off instead of, just as he's about finished tying his shoes, that he take his shoes off, which is not ideal for doing the field sobriety test he's about to do. Not that it would have mattered, Woods did not look good in the tests, but it's unclear why he decided to do that, why he suggested that, and Woods of course cooperated.
You can kick your shoes off too if you want. Instead. You want to do that? What's that?
Do that one.
Yeah, alright, here. Go ahead and bring your leg down. I just don't want you to fall over. Here, you just kick your shoes off right over here.
Now Officer Fandry gets Woods into position for the field sobriety test. Although before he gets into that, you're going to see coming up that he asks Woods some questions. But right here, he's getting Woods into a position where he's trying to get him to put his feet together, which is an uncomfortable position for most people standing. And it's part of one of the tricks of the field sobriety test, is you get them to stand with their feet together, and it makes people uncomfortable. It's harder for them to stay balanced, even sober people. In Woods' case, he's clearly got problems anyway. But the questions coming up are another example of why we tell people to remain silent. Again, Woods is not in a position to be able to follow that kind of instruction anyway.
Okay, so where are you coming from today?
Jupiter, Florida.
You're coming from Jupiter, Florida?
Yes.
Okay, do you know where you're going?
No.
You're just driving around or what?
I like to drive.
I'm sorry?
I like to drive.
You like to drive?
Just go from Medalist.
Okay.
Walk to the golf course and like that.
Okay. Have you had anything to drink tonight?
I'm not.
Are you sure?
Yes.
100%?
100%.
Okay. Have you taken any illegal drugs?
No.
Okay. Have you taken any medication?
Yes.
What have you taken? Okay. Have you had any head injuries in the last couple hours, approximately 24 hours? No head injuries? Do you have any feet or knee injuries that would stop you from conducting some exercises like walking in a straight line, staying on one leg?
No.
No? All right, can you keep your feet together just like how I am?
They're about to start a field sobriety exercise known as horizontal gaze nystagmus. Officer Fandry, for some reason, is very focused on getting Woods to have his feet together, as I mentioned earlier, which doesn't seem all that sensible considering that it's a eye test. He's looking at his eyes to see how his eyes react, and putting him in an uncomfortable position doesn't necessarily help. Not terribly important for this particular incident, but something to notice.
I want you to keep your arms down by your side, all right? All right?
Yeah.
All right, you see the red light of my pen right here?
Yeah.
Are you looking at it?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you go ahead and touch the red light with one of your fingers? All right, perfect. So we know what we're following, right? All right, I want you to follow the red light with your eyes and your eyes only, okay? I want you to keep your head still, okay? Do you understand? All right, I need you to follow the light. All right, you're not even looking at the light.
Following the light.
You're not even moving. All right, you got to follow with your eyes and your eyes only, okay?
Yeah, I'm following the light.
All right, keep your arms down by your side, okay?
Yeah.
Make sure you follow the red light, okay? All right, I need you to follow the red light with your eyes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're not following the light at all. You're not listening to the instructions. Okay, I need you to follow the light with your eyes and your eyes only. Okay, keeping your head still. Do you understand? Okay. All right, we're gonna go on to something else. Okay. Okay, what I would like you to do. Okay, you see this white line right here on the ground?
What's that?
All right, right here, this white line that extends out in front of you. You see it? You see the white line?
Yep.
Okay. What I want you to do, okay, is I want you to put your left foot. Do you know your left from your right?
Yep.
Okay. What I want you to do is put your left foot on that white line, just like this. Okay. So look at my feet.
Yep.
All right. And then you're gonna put your right foot with your heel touching your toe directly in front. Okay. So just like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you go ahead and get to that position?
As this clip continues, you're going to see that Woods performs about as bad as anyone I've ever seen doing the walk and turn test. Clearly not able to do this test. It continues, but there's more to see. Keep watching.
Don't begin until I tell you to, okay? But when I tell you to, you're going to take 9 heel-to-toe steps, okay? So it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth until you get to 9. When you get to 9, you're going to keep that front foot planted on the ground, and you're going to make a series of small steps, okay, in order to turn around.
This is a critical moment where the officer's demonstration doesn't match the instruction. The instruction is to take a series of small steps, but the officer makes the turn in just really 1 or 2 steps, large steps, not a series of small steps. That's important. If a driver makes the turn the way this officer demonstrates, that would generally be deemed a clue of impairment, and that's why he shouldn't demonstrate it that way. Watch that again.
When you get to 9, you're going to keep that front foot planted on the ground, and you're going to make a series of small steps, okay, in order to turn around. Okay, you may begin.
Woods does so poorly at the test. Really, he failed before he got 3 or 4 steps in. Never even makes it to the turn.
Stepped off line. Missed heel to toe. Missed heel to toe. Stepped off line. Missed heel to toe. Stepped off line. Missed heel to toe. Stepped off line. Stepped off to the right to balance. Not counting his steps. Do you remember the instructions to count out each step out loud?
Yeah.
Do you remember the instructions to count out each step out loud?
What's that?
Okay, do you want to try that one more time? Do you want to try this one more time, or do you want to move on?
No, we're talking.
You want to do it one more time?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try one more time, okay? Let's stand right here on my white light, okay? Alright. Alright, face this way. Face this way again. Okay? Put your left foot on the line, okay? 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth until you get to 9. When you get to 9, you're going to take a series of small steps, keeping your front foot planted on the ground, okay? And then bring that front foot back in front, and then you're going to count 9 heel-to-toe steps out again, okay? Okay, you may begin.
Woods again tries performing the test. Comes nowhere close to getting it right. It's a total mess. And we'll move on to the next test.
All right, stand on the white line, okay? And you're going to face me, all right? I want you to put your feet together and your arms down by your side just like this, okay? So go ahead and face me. All right, put your feet together with your heels touching and your toes touching. So your feet all the way together, sir. Mr. Woods, I need you to put your feet all the way together for me. Okay. I want you to stand like that, okay, until I... All right, you may begin when you're ready. Make sure you raise the leg approximately 6 inches off the ground, keeping both legs straight, your foot pointed out, and make sure you look at that elevated foot and you count out loud, okay?
So you can see here Woods does, maybe it's not as obvious to the casual viewer, but he does poorly on this test as well. He tries both legs. He's not stable. Another example, he's just not in good shape and he's not performing this well.
All right, tilt your head backwards, please. All right, left. Do you remember the instructions to touch the tip of your nose and then put your hand directly back down by its side?
No.
All right, once you touch the tip of your nose, I want you to bring that hand right back down to the side, okay? All right, tilt your head backwards. All right, you can put your left hand down. Right?
Right hand, left hand.
Right hand. All right, go ahead and bring that hand back down. All right, Mr. Woods, you can go ahead and bring that hand back down, okay? Okay.
If you think about that, if this was your child, if this was your spouse, if it was you, if it was your parent, and someone found them like this, what would you want done with them? Would you want them taken to a police station and a jail and held for 10 to 15 hours without having the opportunity to see a doctor? Or would you want them taken straight to a hospital so a doctor could look at them, so a blood test could be done to make sure there isn't something that needs care?
This next exercise, okay? What I would like for you to do, you can open your eyes. Mr. Woods, look at me. Okay, what I'd like you to do is stand with your feet together and your arms down by your side, okay? What's your highest level of education?
Sophomore in college.
Sophomore in college? Okay, with your feet together and your arms down by your side, okay? So go ahead and get there now with your arms down by your side. Okay, don't begin until I tell you to, okay? But when I tell you to, I want you to close your eyes and tilt your head backwards, okay? And you're gonna recite the entire English alphabet in a slow, non-rhythmic manner, meaning you're not going to sing it, okay? Do you understand the instructions?
I do.
Okay, what were the instructions?
Not to sing the national anthem backwards.
Not to sing the national anthem backwards? Okay. Okay, what were the instructions?
I'll repeat A through Z, non-rhythmic, lettering between A through Z, making sure I get everyone correct. And which I may.
You may begin when you're ready. Mr. Woods, you don't have to walk anywhere.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead and stand with your feet together and your arms down by your side.
Oh.
Are you okay? What's wrong?
What are we doing?
Right now I want you to say the alphabet from A to Z with your eyes closed and your head tilted backwards. Do you understand?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z.
Okay, sir, what I want you to do is go ahead and place your hands behind your back, okay? Okay, go ahead and step right in front of my patrol car for me. All right, go ahead and spread your feet for me. Do you have anything on you that's going to poke me, prick me, stick me, or cut me?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
Okay, we're about done with the video here. Some closing thoughts. First of all, to me, this is a man who's in obvious distress. And I appreciate the desire of people to get drunks off the road or whatever, but this is a man who's in distress, and you don't know what's wrong with him. And the smart thing to do, in my opinion, for society in general, in this case in particular, is to take the man to the hospital and have a doctor examine him to make sure there's not something more serious wrong with him. And at the same time, like I said before, you can get a blood test done there, which would be better than the urine test they ended up doing at the police station. They're going to take him to the car now. There's one last bit at the end here where Woods tells the officers that he has screws in his knee and his back. I don't know if he's thinking he's talking to TSA or they asked him about sharp objects, but it's another thing he says. You're going to hear that coming up, and then the video is going to end. Thank you for listening and watching. This is Warren Redlich from Fair DUI. Thank you very much.
Do you have any necklaces on or anything? No. Okay. All right, we'll figure that out later. Go ahead and bring right over here.
Body. That's about it.
What's that?
It's a few screws in the body.
What's that mean?
One screw in my knee and three in my
Oh, okay.
back.
Okay. All right, go ahead and step right over here for me. Right over here.
Thanks. This has been Warren Redlich from Fair DUI. I hope you can see my point. When you see someone in Tiger Woods' condition, you would call an ambulance. That's what I think police should do. I think that's what you think police should do when they find somebody in this condition. Get them to a hospital, get them checked out, make sure they're okay. You can still accomplish your law enforcement objectives at the hospital. You don't need to do this nonsense that they did on the side of the road. These field sobriety exercises are junk. They're nonsense. You've got a high school graduate with a few hours of training doing neurological and ophthalmological testing. They're not qualified to do this. They're not qualified under any circumstances. This is not, but particularly in a situation like this, you don't want a guy with a high school diploma and a few hours of training making a decision like this. Get him to the hospital. Let a doctor make the decision. They're much more qualified for this situation than a police officer, than you, than me, than anybody else. Thank you very much. Warren Redlich from Fair DUI.